Harper, I have some really bad news to tell you.
What? What kind of bad news do you have for me?
For the 4th of July, it looks like my older brother and his wife are coming home to celebrate with us.
What? So this time they're coming back here then?
Yeah. They've always been talking about how they'd never be coming back to my mom and dad's for anything. So I was sure that it was from the two of them. But for some reason, they've both gone and changed their minds, and are coming back here now during that week.
So they'll be here for the whole week of the 4th then?
Well, not that whole week, but it's going to feel like that. They were telling me 3 days will be the length that they stay.
That's a long time when it comes to those two. Well, this just means that we have a lot of preparing that we'll both have to do before they get here.
I'm sure that you still have some pretty bad memories of those two from before, but let's just try our best to make this time go as quickly as possible while they're here. How does that sound? I've also made sure to tell my brother to tell his wife not to say anything too awful to you this time around. So let's both hope that he follows through with what I asked.
I see. I guess it has been a long time since the last time I was around her, so hopefully things are a lot better now. But she really did a number on me because she thinks that she has the right to look down on me for being this so-called elite. Your brother is also a bit like that with you from time to time, right?
I think for both our sakes, we should try our best not to think too much about what they say about us, alright? My brother's always been a pain in the butt about that stuff, and I'm used to it now. But I'm sure you're not used to it yet. Especially when his wife is just like him, talking trash about anyone and everyone that's not an elite. It's shocking.
It really is quite shocking, to say the least. But it's so crazy that they both talk themselves up so much, but when your mom was having a hard time, neither of them came back home to help her out. Yet on the 4th of July, of all times, they want to come home?
My brother doesn't really care for family matters like most. You could say he's the black sheep in our family when it comes to showing any care for others. Anyway, my mom is pretty stressed right now, getting things together for when they both arrived, and you might have to help her out with some of it. Just remember that I'm around, and that I can help with anything if you need it.
Understood. For the time being, I'll handle things with your mom. I'll also try my best to prepare food for the 4th, since I'm sure most restaurants and such will be packed.
Sounds good. And remember that you don't have to stress yourself out too much when it comes to cooking. If you want, you can even buy some pre-made things from the store, and we can all enjoy that.
Alright. I'll think about what I want to do a little, and we can go from there. From what I've heard, you're the parasite living in Jaden's parents' house. Excuse me? Oh, hi, Mila. Long time no see. We'll only be staying there for the briefest moment. But it makes total sense that you and Jaden would be the types to have still lived at their parents' house. I think the word parasite works best when describing what the two of you are to his parents. What are you trying to get at here, Mila? This will be the first time my husband and I come back to his parents' house in the past 2 years. So make sure you both give a little to this family by preparing everything for our arrival. I'm sure you want for everything to be high class for the two of you when you get here, but due to Jaden's mom not doing so well recently, things will be pretty basic this 4th of July. Why are you giving me such stupid excuses right now? What? Stupid excuses? Jaden's mom is doing just fine, and I know it. Don't start giving me BS excuses like that just because you don't want things to get done the right way. That's not what I had meant by any of that at all. When you both get here, I'll make sure to explain everything to you guys about what's been going on here. But please be aware that at the moment, we won't have a ton of things set up here for you both besides the basics. However, I'm thinking that both of Jaden's parents will be excited to have you guys here for 3 days, so it's going to be a fun holiday. I hope you're both looking forward to your stay as well. Hey, what was that you served us yesterday for dinner? Are you trying to play games with the two elites staying in this house now? What are you talking about? You and your husband both ate what I made for you guys, right? What ended up being a problem to you about what was for dinner? I'm talking about how you, the wife of my little brother-in-law, cooked dinner in the house that you're a parasite in. What the hell do you think you're doing making such awful-tasting foods for everyone to eat here? Our mother-in-law didn't even say anything about it either. Is that not strange to you? And by the way, we just came home to be with you all for the 4th of July. You should be celebrating us both coming home with caviar and filet mignon. What is going on here? All of your cooking was just god-awful. I don't think anything about my cooking was awful yesterday. I made sure to put a lot of thought into it and everything. I don't give a crap how much thought you were putting into it. We are the customer right now, correct? I want better service than that while we're staying here. From what I understand, you both are just back here for the 4th, right? Why do you think of yourselves as being some kind of customers here? I'm not running this place like it's a hotel or anything. Excuse me? What did you just say to me? What I'm trying to say is that I have no idea why you're getting so upset over absolutely nothing. What are you trying to do by bullying me just because I'm living in my husband's parents' house with them? Does this have to do with me being better at cooking than you? You're not good at cooking. There's no way you'll ever be as good as I am either. What you made for all of us last night was atrocious, completely disgusting and inedible. What? That doesn't... I suppose that's what dinner is like in a house where the wife cannot cook even a simple dish. I want you to praise my husband and I for not vomiting during that whole meal last night. It was like eating raw garbage. Next time, I want to see a plate of perch or something for dinner. I think you're going a bit too far calling my cooking raw garbage like that. I don't believe you have the right to even be complaining about my cooking like that. I'm thinking it's time you just settle down and let me cook what I have planned out for us and be happy that you're being fed anything at all while you stay here. So annoying. What makes you think you can talk to me like that after the show you gave us yesterday? In this house, I'm above you by a long shot, so you shut up. I'm the wife of the older brother, after all. We chose to give his parents the gift of having us home for a few days this summer, and we're being thanked with terrible cooking like that? We can't eat such garbage again, so tonight I was to have caviar, perch, and filet mignon for dinner, you dumb witch.
You are not allowed back in my house ever again now.
What was that?
You stop all that whining right now! You are a complete idiot for talking to my daughter-in-law like that! Why do you find it acceptable to be talking to Harper in such a vexing tone, Mila? You haven't done anything for my family yet, so you have no place to talk! And as for that dinner, which was cooked last night, my sick wife was the one that made it for all of us. She may be very sick right now, but she didn't want to make Harper do all the cooking for us, so she took it upon herself. She did all of that thinking about you and my son.
Hold on for a second. What are you going on about now? Is this you, Rob?
That's right. And you seem to think it's alright to make such comments about my wife's cooking. But instead of going to her to make such complaints, you've sat there taking it all out on Harper for no reason at all. You and your husband don't ever need to come back to our house ever again. No, you won't be. You're both kicked out of here for good!
Wait, calm down for a second, Rob. What's happened to you today that's made you get so upset like that? Normally you're so calm and level-headed when it comes to your conversations with me. It's like I'm not talking to the father-in-law I've known at all right now.
What was that? I have no idea what you're talking about. I may be kind and calm, But when someone is complaining about my family, like you've been, I cannot sit around and let you continue with it. I am tired of you and my oldest always acting like such privileged trash. Therefore, I'm cutting ties to the both of you.
Just calm down for a second, all right, Rob? I think you have the completely wrong idea of what's going on here.
I don't think my idea of what's been going on here is wrong in any way. I have seen enough of how you treat Harper while around her, and this time was too much. You always seem to be a witch to her, but today was the last straw. I cannot watch any of what you're doing anymore.
What? Did I say something wrong?
After laying into her as much as you've been, you're going to sit there acting like you said nothing wrong? What the hell is this about you being some kind of customer here? Thinking you can boss her around like that? I am completely tired of that behavior from someone as useless as yourself!
I'm sorry, but you do not need to be getting that angry with me.
If this is the way you behave when coming around your in-laws, then my son must be the same around here as well. Don't bother coming back to my house again! I mean it! Okay?
I'm asking you to just hold on. Rob, listen to what I have to say, please. I am so sorry about that. I didn't think you of all people would get that upset over what I was saying to her. As you can see, Rob is pretty furious with you guys right now. Is this you again, Harper? What the hell is going on here? Did you go out telling Rob things that you shouldn't be talking about with others? Was the person I just talked with really him in the first place? That was him. I have no reason to fake being him as of right now. Then tell me why he, of all people, was using your smartphone to text me when you and I were in the middle of a conversation. Have you been showing him our conversation this whole time or something? You're awful. I'm awful? The only reason you have such a problem with me having shown him what you're saying is because you're being a total jerk to me. If I'm going to be the awful one, then I guess that makes you a complete dick or something. What do you think about that? Did you just call me a dick? I sure did. And that's because your behavior resembles one perfectly. So after having to sit here and take all that crap from you, I went and spoke with Rob about it. And, well, you kept on sending me texts while I was talking to him about you, so I showed him what you were saying. And that's what ended up sending him into a frenzy like that. But he's totally right about what he's told you. He's right for that? I'm not joking around right now, idiot. He was saying things like for us to leave and to never come back to his house. Why the hell would he be saying things like that about my husband and I? What? If you wanted to continue staying here with us, then perhaps you should have been a better person while around here. I think there were plenty of things in this house that needed to be done while you were here, and those things did not include you bullying me about the cooking I never did. What are you trying to say? Well, I'm just saying that you seem to think you're worth a whole lot more than me to this family, and that's why you think you can harass me. But is that really the case? Huh? What is this all about? Your attitude is changing as well now, just like Rob's. From what it looks like to me, you assumed that Rob actually liked you as his son's wife, and that it meant you could do and say whatever you liked while around us. But in reality, I've been the one caring for Jaden's mom here, and both her and Rob love me so much for it. Caring for her? Why are you caring for someone like her? You have no clue what's been going on here then, huh? She ended up really hurting her back in a bad way, which required me to be here in order to care for her while Rob's been going to work. Huh? I never heard anything about her needing someone here all the time to care for her. I am sure Rob told your husband this a while back as well, when things first went downhill for her. But you and your husband never really care to talk about the family, now do you? That's not true. We just don't like to talk about useless things between us. Don't say things like that when it's regarding your mother-in-law. I have been living here with Jaden for the past 6 months now, caring for his mom, all right? That's why, for the 4th of July, while you both came home, she wanted to change things up and prepare food for all of us. For half a year now, she hasn't really been doing anything on her own, and so she wanted to have something to look forward to. And so that's why she did her very best to make dinner for us all last night. Well, all that food last night was like something a college student would cook, so I assumed you were the one that made it all. Sorry that I mistook who was cooking. Had I known that she was the one who cooked all that food, I would have never complained about any of it. Stop trying to make up excuses now. All you do when it comes to this family is ignore what's happening between all of us and say whatever the heck you want without a care in the world. And because of that, this time, you really made Rob get upset with you. Well, it wasn't my fault he got mad. I didn't know that our mother-in-law was dealing with back problems, and only telling me about things now is a huge pain in the butt for me. Well, I suppose no matter what I have to say to you now, you and your husband's fates are sealed. Rob is going to talk with her about you guys right now, and after today, they are both cutting ties to you guys. Both you and your husband will no longer be allowed back in this house, nor back in this family. What are you going on about there? What are you trying to say we did to you all? You're going to make me say it again? This is what it must be like to be a 3rd grade teacher then. When it comes to the two of you, you both don't care about what happens in the family, nor do you bother to help out. And after 2 years of never coming home, you both show up and think you can act like you're our guests. And not only that, but you also look down on both myself and on Jaden, trying your guys' best to make us feel horrible. And then you think that you can treat me like a slave, calling me a parasite just because we're both living here now? I'm the older brother's wife, so I think I'm allowed to do all of that. It's totally fine for me to treat you both like that from time to time. What kind of thinking is that? It's like you have your head up your butt or something. I'm not going to talk with you anymore if you're thinking of yourself like that all the time. To both my in-laws, I happen to actually be their family now. And since I'm a part of their family, I'm not going to continue talking to you about them, especially when they see you as nothing more than strangers now. I can't wait for today to be over so that we no longer have to think of you both. I don't care if you cut ties to us. But are both my husband's parents really going to do that to us? Well, that's what it's looking like now after what kind of crap you pulled today. Even Rob said it to you himself that he's cutting ties to the both of you. I don't think he can deal with you guys anymore, and he'd much rather love Jaden and I over you two. Wait a second! Then what about the plans for the house? What plans for the house are you talking about? Rob was telling us before that he'd help both of us pay for the new house we're planning on building. We had that all planned out between one another, but does him cutting ties with us mean those plans are off now? There's no way in hell that's the case, right? Please tell me that's not the case for us right now. I've been so excited about having a house built for us that I've gone around bragging about it to everyone. Well, thinking about what's been said here today, I'm pretty sure those plans are dead now. What? I'm not sure what's going to end up happening after today, but he did say that he was cutting ties to the both of you. So I'm just going to say it outright, but it would be wild if he still helped you both pay for a new house to be built after cutting ties. I really don't think he's planning to help either one of you now. No way! It's all because of you, Harper, that the plans for my dream house are gone! Is that what's going to happen here? I've been waiting for so long to have that new house be built for us, and you're saying Rob won't help us now? What has all of that holding back I've been doing for? Holding back? Well, maybe you should have tried a little better at being a good daughter-in-law so that you'd be given some money for the house. I was being a good wife. But after harassing you just a little bit, all of that time spent faking thinking my happiness in this family was for nothing. This is all your fault. Every little bit of it. You stop it right now trying to blame me for you being such a pile of crap, witch. I like to think you not getting some money for a new house to be built is what you deserve. Haven't you always been bragging to me about how you both are so-called elites? Something to do with your husband being on the path to becoming the CEO of the company he's working for? You continue to speak about how he's this amazing businessman for the company, but really all he is a base-level employee still, right? What does him being a base-level employee have to do with anything? It's already incredible that he gets to work for the largest company in the city right now. And you always make it seem like you have all this money at home, but from what I've been able to tell, you don't work a job. I used to work full-time. I used to be a private secretary back in the day. Back in the day, right? That means currently the two of us are both housewives, right? So I have no frickin' idea why you keep looking down on me when we're both riding the same wave. If you were going to complain so much about the food I was making, then why didn't you go ahead and cook for all of us last night? But of course, you probably can't do anything properly with those long and disgusting nails of yours. You stop that! I'm sorry for mentioning anything about the cooking last night. What? You just apologized for something. I never thought you'd be able to learn how to do that. Can you please go and explain all of this to Rob? I cannot have him hating me now after this. I want a new house, so there's no way I can have him hating me. That's right. Both of them just finished up talking to one another about you and your husband. He said that he's going to get all that money he's been lending to you guys back really soon. Huh? From our wedding? He wasn't just paying for that out of kindness? No, he's told me that he just lent you guys the money until you could both pay him back. That's what he had told his son back then, so I'm surprised you never heard about this. Yet again, though, you and him don't like to talk about anything that has to do with the family. You're lying, right? We can't even afford to have a house built for us, and now he wants us to pay him back for the wedding? Are you guys trying to steal all our money or something? Yesterday, Jaden overheard something you and your husband were talking about. Something about him having to quit his job. What? And that's the reason you both came back for the 4th of July after being out of touch for 2 years. You guys wanted more of his dad's money. You have it all wrong. Wait, my husband quit his job? What? Well, it looks like things haven't been too elite for you both back at home after all. Let's just hope those titles of being elites are able to carry you out of the fire you've started there. I know that you liked to call me a parasite for living here with Jaden's parents. But who were the real ones that came here to leech off his parents? Well, that's too bad, though, because your host is getting rid of you both for good. Do your best supporting yourselves for once, you heaps of trash. In the end, it was in fact the truth I said to Mila about her husband having quit his job, and when he went and told her again about it, she freaked out. When it came to our in-laws, they also chose to cut ties to them for good. And from that, Rob would neither be helping pay for a new house to be built, nor would he be giving them any more money. And instead, he asked for the both of them to pay all that money he lent for the wedding back. After a few weeks of the 4 of us having cut ties to those two, I've noticed that things in the family have been a lot more peaceful, as we no longer need to ever think about them.